The Joe Rogan Experience.
Well, one of the interesting things about endogenous DMT, and especially with its discovery in such high levels in the brain, is that it may be the endomatrix. It could be kind of regulating everything all of the time.
What do you mean by that? Regulating everything all the time?
It could be the way we interact with reality is through endogenous DMT, which is always at a steady level. Well, it's the way I began wondering about that is because, what is the purpose of endogenous DMT? Why does the brain make DMT?
Can you do a DMT test on a person's blood level?
It's pretty hard. It's pretty hard. It's really low in the blood. It's like, billionths of a gram per milliliter.
Okay, so you'd have to measure it in the actual brain itself?
In the brain or spinal fluid, maybe spinal fluid, but most likely brain.
When they start doing stuff like Neuralink, where they're going to insert wires into your brain, and, you're going to have an app to control your brain, to control your mood. I mean, it seems like that would be one of the ways they would do it, right?
Well, you'd need to find, where in the brain the main, source of DMT is, and then put an electrode there and keep that going.
Do you think it's limited to one specific area where it's developed?
Oh man, they're just beginning to unravel the whole role and location of endogenous DMT.
So when they know that it's in the liver and they know that it's in the lungs to me sound interesting because of holotropic breathing.
Right.
Because people have done breathing exercises and achieved states of altered states of consciousness.
Yeah.
That kind of makes sense, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, but I think it's not working through the lungs because those more recent studies haven't really demonstrated DMT in lung.
Oh.
Yeah, I used to say it's made in lung. Everybody used to say it's made in lung, but it seems like it's made in brain.
So if it's made in brain, then all the other stuff, you're just getting like a trickle-down effect?
Well,
does it go through the whole body?
Yeah, but it's metabolized so quickly that, by the time it gets into the blood that you're drawing, the concentrations are pretty minuscule.
Wow. What a sneaky molecule.
Well, you have to wonder what it's doing, right?
Right. What is it doing?
What is endogenous? What's the function of it? There's the possibility we have a DMT neurotransmitter system like serotonin or dopamine, in which case, what is it doing?
Wow. So this is a really wild way to think about it, because to this time I'd never even considered that. I always thought of it as being something that was responsible maybe for very vivid dreams, or something that was responsible for near-death experiences, or what happens to you when you die, the
right.
idea of a portal.
Mm-hmm.
But I never thought about it as being something that is regulating regular, everyday reality.
Well, one of the hallmarks of the DMT effect is that it feels more real than real.
Yeah.
And you study the function of endogenous neurotransmitters by giving drugs that modify the effect of that endogenous neurotransmitter. So we've got the SSRI antidepressants, and they affect serotonin, although they may not all that much. But still, that's been the working model for decades. And because SRIs are useful for depression and anxiety, you then can speculate that serotonin is responsible for mood or anxiety. So the hallmark of a DMT effect is it's more real than real. It feels more real than anything else. So it's tempting to speculate.
But that, again, when I go back to that disembodied mind thought process of like thinking, like, what am I thinking when I'm over there? Since my body doesn't seem to be there and I'm there, and it seems more real than real, is that me just tricking myself into thinking that it's a different place?
How could you tell?
How could I tell, right?
Yeah, how would you know?
I have one way of looking at it that I always describe. This is what I say to people. I say, if there was a thing that you could do, like a door you could go through, and that door would take you to another dimension where you would communicate with some entity beyond your wildest imagination that's constantly visually changing and communicating with you telepathically and knows everything about you, sees all your bullshit, and is trying to impart some ideas that will help you with your life, because it's a godlike experience. Like you're experiencing like some sort of uber powerful entity, some or uber intelligent entity, something beyond any. If we just looked at humans and thought of the evolution of human, one day we'll get to this. We're not going to get to that. That is a different. It seems like it's so beyond the body. It's so beyond the human monkey body. This is what I tell people. I go, if you would open a door and you would go there and you'd have that experience, would you do it? And most people are like, yes, I would do it. If I gave you a drug that gave you that experience, you still have the exact same experience. It's the exact same experience. You've just decided it's not real. And you've decided it's not real because you're putting it in this category of hallucination. Like, what does that even mean? What does that even mean? You're actually having that experience. I don't know what it is. I mean, I like to play devil's advocate, and I like to think that maybe I'm messing with my own head, and maybe I'm just like, it's like I'm
through doing what?
Looking at it like maybe it's just my neurochemistry going bonkers and interacting with my visual cortex could produces hallucinations.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't feel that way. That's why I'm trying to figure out if you're bullshitting yourself when you're over there, or if you really are over there. But what I tell people is it's the same experience.
Yeah, what difference does it make?
What? Yeah.
Yeah, it's previously invisible.
Yeah.
And it contains information.
A lot.
Yeah, and I think that's all you can say about it.